Greetings. Hope you can hear that all right. Alright, so doing things a little differently today. I'm videoing on my computer and on a phone to be able to have it in two places, be able to share it, store it, that type of thing. So hopefully everything comes through awesome. So today's video, pretty exciting. Okay, again, thank you everybody for your comments, for watching videos. Those videos are years old, and it's kind of just an affirmation and a celebration to the Great Mother, because she told me just keep doing what you're doing, focus on this. But those out there, like, don't worry about it, because it's exciting, because I see all these people connecting and relating on the same level as far as the Great Mother and the Sibyls and just the healing that's coming through as well, and just the eye-opening revelations. This is I think this is revelations, literally. This is so exciting. So thank you. It means a lot to me, even if you're not completely on board with what I'm speaking about. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your time. And you're subscribing. Okay. So today is going to be about the Sibyls, and that is just that. So the book was given to me, the little book that I've shared before. I know that if you've listened to my recent videos, I've talked about Cassandra Faye Floyd. She actually reads that book aloud on her channel. You can check that out. And there's another one, 3%. She is also, this is on YouTube, she is also sharing Sibyl stories. I know y'all have probably already checked out Mama T. There's other sisters reading from the Bible and decoding it also. A lot of my Bible decoding is older. Hers is like recent, and oh my gosh, it's very powerful, because wow, she really breaks it down in a whole other way. So this is, I mean, she said this would happen, that there would be many of us speaking and connecting to the Great Mother, and just to be patient, because yeah, I've been doing this for a while, and it's been somewhat of a lonely road. Here we are. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the 9-day calendar a little bit, and because we're just coming out of a new moon, so that would have been the beginning of a new month on the 9-day calendar. And as I've spoken before, I start the first day as Earth, because my theory is that we looked at nature, and we obviously have ancient carvings and petroglyphs that let us know that we understood the stars and planets. Oh, interesting, because I've been doing videos about the trees. How I did not see this before, but I was writing about everything the other day, and how the download had been. But the Great Mother basically said that this is basically a giant tree. Well, planet is plant with an E in it. How did I not see that? Okay. So Earth first would have been first, and then we would have, my theory is we would have went outwardly towards which was closer, which was farther away. So today would be Mars Day, and it is also a Saturn's Day, and it's also the first day of, wait, am I on the right month? Yeah. Of Rosh Hashanah, which begins at sundown. I don't know about Rosh Hashanah. I should look that up. I'm going to pause real quick and look it up. Oh my gosh. And this is also how Great Mother works, because this is okay. So Rosh Hashanah is a Jewish New Year festival held on the first, also sometimes the second day of Tishri in September, is marked by the blowing of the shofar and begins the 10 days of penance, accumulating Yom Kippur. Okay. Interesting, because, all right, we'll get to that in a moment, but it's kind of too exciting. Can we come back to the 9-day calendar? Because, oh my gosh. All right. So that's where we're at on the 9-day calendar. Why do I pick 9? 9 is theory is the 9 is the power number, feminine. I believe that, but what I was downloaded is the true number 1 is actually the symbol that looks like a circle, or what we call a 0. And that it goes 0 to 9, which would be 10 symbols, right? 0 to 9 would be 10 symbols. So 10 is included, but it's with the understanding of 9. And then I've talked about like the magic of 9 and how cool it is. And the more you learn about 9, I feel like it makes mathematics so much more easy, because then you can literally look at something, and once you see the 9, yeah, you can start putting it together. But anyhow, 9 is the great cosmic number, as far as I was downloaded, as far as what we're being shown, okay, and the giant swirl. So today is Mars Day, so Saturn. I'm so excited. So excited. So, okay, this is an interesting download. So what we're seeing is the feminine aspects of the planets also starting to show up more and more, because the collective mental is rising more and more about the Great Mother and certain aspects of her, and what we've been shown and what we've been kind of mistaught, so to speak. So the energy is the kind of like not warring, but like war, like this is so cool. This is so cool. All of this cumulative. I'm so excited for this video. Kind of like the fiery fierceness of the crone mother, Saturn, reminding us, bringing us in tune. Okay. Tomorrow would be Jupiter, and then Monday would be Saturn. And this is also days of Yom Kippur. Okay, so Rosh Hashanah in itself has a feminine name in it. Okay, Hashanah. Hashanah. Okay. I'm just was downloaded that. Just told that. All right. So I began the morning because of all the recent subscribers and the great interest in the Sibyls and the remembrance of like who we are and what we're kind of working back towards. I grabbed this book, The Goddess Path, and I grabbed this book, with the intention of looking up Azeroth or Azeroth. Okay. So I end up opening up this book to Kalila or Kalilia. Okay. Let's see. You guys can see. Listen to this poem, y'all. Her face had the black-blue shine of coal. Her one bony tooth was red like rust. Her hair was thick and dense and gray like brushwood in a dying forest. In her head was one eye like a pool, swifter than a star in the winter sky. That one stone eye in the hag's head moved quicker than mackerel after a lure. The old one crouched in the bushes of the old pollard oak, the last remnant of her forest. The oak that grew in the cleft of the rock over the mouth of her cave, of her dark cave. She made that cave, scratched it out of the cold earth with her bony hands. She crouched like a wild beast, ready to spring. She of the long nails, she of the long teeth, she ran through the hills like thunder. Okay, so I'm not going to read all of this to you guys, but wow. Kalilia is an ancient goddess that is known in mainly Ireland, Scotland, and England. That is the traced folklore. Through the names of ancient monuments and natural wonders are how these stories came about. And for the Celts came the lands of Kalilia some 2,000 years ago. That could be longer. Bringing their own pantheon of gods and goddesses. But there is an old Irish poem that says there are three great ages. The age of the yew tree, the age of the eagle, the age of the Kalilia. Okay. There's not a lot known about her, but her name still continues. And one of her names is also Black Annis. Okay, so I read through this just to continue, but I also grabbed my Encyclopedia of Spirits because, like I said, with the intention of looking at Azeroth, right? So as I was reading through this, there are points. Okay, one of her names in here is okay. She's had many names. Let me tell you her names, and this is why. So two things I learned. The statement "in your many names" equals 9 in Gematria. Also, in honoring the Great Mother and even thyself and our soul, we have many names. So, when I'm finishing a prayer, I don't finish it with Ashe because of how it's spelt. Aseo is a little different. Aseo, Ase, because even in that statement, it sounds like I say or I'm saying something. And I don't say amen because those are patriarchal words. Ashe in English spells ash, and though that can be actually used ritualistically in the sense of like we return to ash, to the earth or the ash tree, I could see that because there is great lore and magic in that. However, it's also, ash. So I more honor say rituals and prayers with "in your many names" in the theory of the Great Mother and the soul of the being. Now, that said, that equals 9. So, okay. I don't know why. Maybe because I said maybe Ashe. I don't know. I can't remember why I said that. But her names. That's what I was getting to. Oh, yeah. Okay. Because she has many names. Thank you. Thank you for bringing it back. So, Kalalia Be'er, or Carlin in Scotland. Caliberry in Northern Ireland. Kalilia Ni Gramach in the Isle of Man. Black Annis in Britain. The Hag of Bear, or Digny in Ireland. And she was fierce. She was of fearsome appearance, with only one eye, and an eye of perpetual keenness or knowingness in the middle of her blue-black face. What? Come on now. This also sounds like Kalima. She had red teeth and white hair as a frosted apron. Over it she wore a kerchief, and over her gray clothing a faded plaid shawl. And in her apron she would carry giant rocks, is one of the things. And what you see in Kalima, she had heads. And the spelling is similar. It was like, God, it's just led me down this whole path. As a woman, she was depicted as strong and vigorous, even though she was depicted as an elder, and that she had much vitality and could outwork men. And also she was known as a tremendous lover, okay, and practiced like sacred sex, or was related to sacred sex. And then she was so strong that she carried boulders around in her aprons, and that she would drop them off and make mountain ranges. She was the goddess of the famous cliffs of Moher, which sounds like mother, in West Ireland, and especially one called Hag's Head. And if you haven't seen my video, I'll just let you know. If you don't know, Hag in ancient, and also this is in Mama Zogbe's books, that Hag goes back to snake, goes back to goddess. And Hag used to be like a honorable name, not something bad. Old Hag became bad during specifically like the witch trials and the Renaissance and that whole mislead, so to speak. Anyways, so they talk about especially one called Hag's Head, and one of the mountains that stand in an island from the ocean air is called Silbo. Slibh. Almost like Sibyl. Okay. The mountains of the Hag Mountains were often named for her. Hag Hills, like Benna, Kalalia in Scotland, which are usually clouded and covered or stormy. So it goes on to say that this goddess, Kalalia, controlled the seasons and the weather, specifically controlled wintry chills and storms and high winds. And as a seasonal goddess, she was sometimes kind of referred to Breed, or as many people call her Bridget, because it's mispronounced, but it's pronounced Breed, in Celtic times. Okay, Breed, if you look up in the Orishas, or if you look up Breed, she can be related to the goddess Oya. Well, yeah, because of storms, right? And okay, and then here's another one. The symbols of Kalalia. Well, it's hard to find, but many say rocks, Okay, obviously because of the mountains and the hills. And the saying is that without rocks, there's no soil on top of it for which we can grow. You know, my whole thing with rocks and trees and growing and all that stuff. But the rocks relate to her. Okay. And then, so, before we get to this part, because I think we're almost finished. Okay. Oh, yeah. Yes, there's a lot of relation to her and weather. She's renowned in places like all over England, Ireland, Scotland, Russia even. She's found in Spain. Okay, and one of the descriptions of invoking her, the idea is embracing our own potentials as a purple-clad, powerful crones, ourselves as a crone. Which is another, well, purple relates to Oya. They mention several times breed and that connection, because breed has a lot of similar. And this goddess is considered. Oh, there's a saying that. Oh, that's no. Hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. They say that, so in Russia she stands for the sun, and she's a fiery goddess, or possibly the solar goddess. Okay, now all that said, and in the Encyclopedia of Spirits, they didn't have Kalilia. I hope I'm pronouncing it correct. But they did have black anise. Okay, so it does say at the end, like the Sibyls of Kalilia, and I thought like anise, I kind of related that to like Anubis, and I just kind of imagined a dog, but they say a cat, especially a black cat, and that you don't want. Oh, and she's also known for spinning, and that and in some of the stories she's life-giving, and in other stories she's like very scary and basically, evil, so to speak. But she's related to the cat, and it is said that she would appear in the spring in the form of a black cat. In the far west of Ireland, there are traces of vestal cat goddesses who lived in a cave and answered questions like a prophet. You guys. Okay. But in this book, Black Annis is described as a children-eating, like, witch. But I kept going. So, what came next? Whoops. What came next? Oops. Okay, I'm still recording. I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta stop recording. Okay, so then, as I was looking up for Kalila, I came across, so I wanted to share a little bit in here about the Sibyl, and then, oh my gosh, you guys, I couldn't believe, I was like, what is happening? So, Sibylla, goes back to Italian, and I'm just going to give you, this is also in Mama Zogbe's book, but according to the Italian legend, after vanishing from Rome, the Cumaean Sibyl took refuge in a cavern in the Apennines. Her underground paradise was reached through a grotto filled with snakes in the mountain of Norcia, an Italian region renowned for witches and mushrooms. Magic mushrooms. She's allegedly still in this cavern, teaching the magical arts to those who wish to learn. See, also Sibyl, but also there's Cabal, Sibeli, and okay, so I also I think I left this out. My gosh. So important. Because what did I say today was? Yom Kippur. Okay. Let's see here. I think. Oh, I remember. Oh, wait. Is there anything about? I thought they did say something about Yom Kippur in here. Oh, she's also known as a dual goddess. This is Kalilia. Alright. I think that's that part on Kalilia. So, then, I went to this book. I was like, okay, what was I originally looking at? Astaroth. So, then I saw the Sibyl part, and then I found this. Silibo. Silibo. I hadn't seen this before. I've had this book for quite a while. Silibo. Also known as Grande Silibo, Silibo Nuova, Vu, Grande Silibo, Mamam Silibo, kind of like Mama Sibyl. Oh my gosh. Silibo now Mamau, Silibo Vavu. And the classic, and in this book they kind of let you know like what pantheon, and this is Lao, LWA, which I believe we get the word law from. Continue. In this book, Esoteric Knowledge, 17th century German scholar Athanticus Kircher describes the sun as populated with angels of fire swimming in seas of light around a volcano. Wow. He may have been describing Silibo, who bathes in the fires of the sun. Did we just talk about Galilee? Just saying it. Which has two L's, which when I see two L's, I relate it to the Sibyls. Sibylia. Just kind of pay attention to that. I do. Not that you guys need to. Anyhow, okay. Silibo is a spirit of wells, springs, streams, ponds, and fire. She is a spirit of fresh water and the feminine aspect of the sun. Okay. She is an esoteric Lao of magic and sacred sexuality. In the book Voodoo Visions by Sally Ann Glassman, she compares Silibo to Shakti and the Shekinah. Silbo is not synchronized to a saint. Instead, the biblical image to which she is compared is from the book of Revelation, the woman cloaked in the sun. Oh my gosh, you guys. She is a fiery wanton version in the tradition of Astarte or Inanna Ishtar. Oh my gosh. She is virginal in the old traditional, non-literal sense, an independent, shame-free woman who is beholden to no one. That is the same as Kalilia. She is you can evoke her for burning away shame as you can with Silibo. The Scarlet Woman is not crimson from shame, but because of her burning, fiery nature. Sacred sexuality is the most primal root religion. Sacred sexuality is the most primal root religion. Vestiges survive today. The hexagram, also known as the Jewish Star of Solomon seal, consists of two interlocking triangles, one facing upward, the other one facing down, in a sign of tremendous magical protective power. Then it goes into describe those energies. Silibo dances at that point in the hexagram. She is the embodiment of creative energy and sacred sexual energy. Sex may serve as an instrument of humiliation and degradation, but sex also potentially serves as the fires of purification, because we can go back and say what sacred sexuality is the most primal root religion. So this is where sex can be healing and uplifting, and okay. Silibo cannot be debased because she bathes in the purity and the purification waters of the sun. She is those purifying flames. She burns away shame. She is an alchemical spirit whose magical fires burn away dross, leaving what is pure and powerful. She can be invoked to heal sexual abuse, violation, degradation, humiliation. She burns away guilt and shame and leaves you free and clean. Silbo is petitioned to she can be a petition to awaken sexuality and discover or rediscover ecstasy. She provides over spiritual cleansing rituals, especially cleansing baths. Invoke her presence to empower any magical bath. She is a spirit of enchantment and clairvoyance who bestows spiritual and magical power. Silibo teaches candle magic, crystal ball gazing, and how to divine using nothing more than a pan of water. Elemental, right? Silibo may be or may not have relationship to Lord Agwe. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Silibo is a guardian of young women. She's a shapeshifter, and her guise is Grand Silbo. She is the majestic woman cloaked in the sun. But she also sometimes appears as a small girl, indicating the purity of her nature. She's one of the most famous Laos. Images are not easily available as of other Laos, like the Isilis La Serene. Silibo appears on a card from the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot, as well as in Haitian paintings. Planet, the sun, elements, fire and water, offerings, spring pond water. Okay. Then I did find Asarte, okay? And I was like, what in the heck, fire? It's just too because I don't know if any of you know, but Asarte has also been turned into a demon, similar to like Hallelujah, who's basically this powerful goddess that wasn't really feared. Doesn't feel like she was feared. Well, there's not much known about her, but the way that the author in the Goddess book describes her doesn't describe her as something scary, but they do describe like her red tooth and her long nails type of thing, right, which we can associate to being scary, but I think that we've been conditioned that way, especially with women. From something, powerful and seemingly like pure to something, kind of scary and bad. So, Asarte, as you may or may not know, has also been basically demonized, right? So, okay, this is, we're getting to the end, but just to, I feel like it's all tied together. So here we go, because we're ending. Well, actually, I'll go to Azeroth first, because Azazel. Wait, isn't there something about Yom Kippur in this part? Because for the Jews. I should say Judaism. Yes. Okay. So, yeah, I'll finish it kind of how anyhow. Asarte has been turned into basically a demon, which is, anyhow, also known as Astarte. The final E in Astarte may or may may or may not be pronounced. So it could be Astarte or Astarte. Okay. Their origin is Levantine, is what this says. So, she's worshipped by the Astarte. Was worshipped by the Canaanites, Egyptians, Hebrews, Philistines, Phoenicians, but who exactly is she? It can be very difficult to distinguish between West Semitic spirits because of the tradition of addressing spirits by both personal name and honorific. Thus, Baal, meaning master, is the title for a spirit named Had. Elath, literally lady, is a title for the spirit named Asherah. Astarte means the womb, the conceiving womb, or full womb, and is the title for the goddess Anat. But it may also be the title for other goddesses associated with fertility, or possibly a name for completely independent spirit. All of the following may be true. Astarte is a title for Anat. Astarte is the title for the Cypriot goddess whose Greek name is Aphrodite. Astarte is the title for a completely independent spirit, perhaps Anat's sister. Documents from the 13th century BCE, which, at this point, that's also why I do the 9-day calendar, because it's time being told to us correctly. But anyhow, in the past, documents indicate that the Egyptians considered Anat and Astarte to be two allied war goddesses in a 12th century BCE hieratic papyrus. Okay. The goddess Neith ordered that Set be given Anat and Astarte as wives. Ramses II called Anat Astarte, his shields. That's what he called Anat and Astarte. Among the triad of Semitic sex, love, war goddesses worshipped in Egypt, Astarte was the favorite over Anat and Kadesh. That's in Egypt. She had her own priests and prophets. Jews used the title Astarte to indicate Anat. Astarte is mentioned 9 times in the Jewish Bible, or in the Torah. It is now unknown exactly how the Phoenicians comprehended her identity, which is unfortunate, as they are most likely associated with her, the ones, as traders and master navigators who carried her veneration and statues on their colonies in Europe, Africa, and islands in between. By the 4th century BCE, kings of the Phoenician city Sidon served as priests of Astarte, the wives of her priestesses. Astarte is the spirit of abundance, prosperity, love, sex, and war. When the Philistines defeated Israelite King Saul, they placed his captured armor in Astarte's temple as a tribute and thanks. Erotic temple rites and sacred prostitution were central in her veneration. She guards women's reproductive health. Astarte may be Anat, Aphrodite, and or Tanit. Any information pertaining to them may pertain to her as well. Manifestations. Beautiful one. Hathor style hairdo. Alternatively, she is also horned. She can be depicted as a naked woman holding lilies, sometimes wearing a helmet, a Philistine helmet. It says she can be enthroned, flanked by sphinxes. She holds a bowl beneath her breasts, which are pierced so that milk placed in the statuette flowed from her breast into the bowl. Interesting. Her day is Friday, similar to, and her planet is Venus. I was just going to say, similar to Venus. Lilies, coriander. What is her bird? It's a dove. What are her sacred places? Groves, hilltops, and caves. She has important temples in Beirut, Byblos. If you haven't read or seen my video on the Byblos, the map. Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself or behind myself. Okay, Byblos, which relates to Bibles, which relates to those who wrote. Sidon, Tyre, Malta, Cytherea, Eryx, now Mount Eris in Sicily. Offerings, lilies, roses, sweet cakes, honey. Ornament your body with henna or honey, which could relate also to Oshun. Okay, let's see. Okay. Cake molds in the shape of horned Astarte, dating from the 17th century BC, have been found near Nahara, Israel. Raphael Patini, author of the Hebrew Goddess, suggests, I need to get that book, that these molds were used to form goddess-shaped cakes, either to be burned on an altar or eaten by celebrants. Okay. Now, I also, because Azazel, I just found this interesting because of, because I feel like I have found some information that kind of relates. I may not have, and I'll double check this and get back to you guys, but I think in one of my books where it talks about demons and angels, Azazel, I think was originally a goddess. I'm not positive on that. Okay. So, Azazel is a desert spirit who rules a band of goat spirits. This is why I brought it up, because I find this interesting, okay? Especially with, like, the recognition and the understanding of narcissism and how the word, scapegoat is used. And just goat in general, because goat can also be like somebody with a lot of knowledge, but also it could be like somebody who has a lot of knowledge but isn't actually seen. It's kind of like everything's put on them, but no one actually addresses that those are put on them, which is where this scapegoat comes from. Because, so what I say about Yom Kippur and today being the first day of Rosh Hashanah. Okay, so all this before I looked that up, right? Because I looked that up at the beginning of this video. I'm just kind of mind blown, and just all of this. So, and thanks for listening. This is kind of a long video, but thanks for listening. This Azazel is a desert spirit worshipped by ancient Semites. He rules over a band of goat spirits in the Se'irim, which I need to look that up too. Azazel played a part in Jewish Day of Atonement, aka Yom Kippur rituals. As per instructions in Leviticus 16:21 through 28, 2 goats were brought into Jerusalem temple. One was sacrificed to the Creator, the other dedicated to Azazel as the original scapegoat. The sins of the people were ritually transferred to this goat, which was brought to the desert and set free. Although this was a Jewish custom, its roots are believed to be pre-Judaic. Azazel may belong to an ancient, now forgotten pantheon. He is among the leaders of the rebel angels which is a better word, so to speak. He taught women, or they say he taught women the arts of metalworking and cosmetics. I think this might be where we get the depiction of the hanged man, because the creator punished his disobedience by hanging him upside down in a canyon of jagged pointed stones. In Jewish tradition, he may be classified among the avenging angels. In Christian demonology, Azazel is a fallen angel. Let's see, classified among the avenging angels. Is avenging meaning avenging? Or like taking, I don't know. The Avengers? Okay. Azazel is fallen angel, counted among Satan's hosts. That's in Christian demonology. His name is sometimes used as a synonym for Satan. Apocalyptic literature from the early centuries of the Common Era describes sinners punished in the flames of Azazel, because we talk about Asheroth, the flaming goddess. We talk about Hallelujah, also represents the sun. Okay. This is why, yeah. And so it would be like you're going, go see Azrael. Azrael. Which is similar to the end of Leah. The way we say Leah. Anyways, okay. Azazel is a master of herbalism and all the occult arts, and rewards those who visit him with knowledge and information. He's a shapeshifter. In the apocalyptic texts, Azazel appears as a 12-winged dragon with human hands and feet, which is to me the feminine divine. Okay. Ranges in the desert. Oh, and was a rebel angel and banished to the duel past the mountains of darkness in the home of demons and fiery serpents. I think fiery serpents are literally like the Sibyls. Fiery serpents, meaning like women who didn't want to conform. Just saying. It's a theory. Okay. It's very powerful. But Raphael is supposed to be the traditional opponent and may be invoked for protection. If you're, that's your thing. But I just found that interesting, because here we have an example of a being that has been demonized, but is used in ritual in a predominant matriarchal, religion. All right, everybody. And I feel like it all came back together because of the day. I mean, oh my gosh, right? So it's that day. Those things that I read, I feel like they were all kind of down a pathway. And this is what I talk about, Sibyls. Like, I feel like that is literally like sublime magic that is guided through Great Mother as to like what is, kind of for my brain, and what I will actually bring in, I mean, I'm working through some of the stuff that she talked about with Hallelujah. And these are the type of things that I'm working through and then share on my Patreon, as far as like the goddess healing the mother wound, releasing stuck stuff in the body. But also I think this is important because it's the feminine aspects, and she talks about like how we're looked at when we get older with Hallelujah, and how to embrace that, like old hag wisdom, that third eye, all-knowing wisdom, or the first eye, because that's what they say in that kind of poem. Her first eye, I think that's what they say in the poem, but that her eye, is just kind of hanging out by itself. Well, I'm running out of time on this. That one stone eye in the hag's head. So in her head was one eye, like a bull. So they mentioned that one more time, or several times. But I hope you see kind of the magic of it. I feel like this is also an example of like how we function as independent, like modern day Sibyls, because I wasn't like, I'm going to intend to find this pathway, but here it showed up, and then I get to share it with you guys. And then we can you can relate it to so many other depictions of the divine goddess, and that's ultimately what I think we're coming back to, is that divine goddess, and the mass healing that comes with that, because in that is so many ways of looking at things and healing, from light language to sound, from talk therapy to dance therapy. I mean, it's just, and it's becoming embraced, and I feel like that is like the fiery crone of Saturn, and that fiery youth of, say, Mars and Aries. And I just watched something that goes back to, all those names go back to the goddess. What have I been saying? I feel like I've been saying that. Alright, so that is today's video. And if there's anything you'd like to talk about, any goddesses you want to talk about, maybe we do a live about goddesses, maybe we do a live about Sibyls, maybe we do bring in a, I'd like it. I was recently invited to do a panel, which I would like to do, and continue that type of thing, and like share each other's work. So I'm working on maybe putting something together for that, but maybe this will be something that can be used for that panel. I don't know, but this is all new to me because it's been slow coming. So much gratitude to you guys. It's freaking awesome. And yeah, all right, so a little sound before we go. All right, y'all, until next time, take care.